All right, guys, welcome to the expository day. When we go, we log into our Gmail, and then we go straight to our Drive. In Drive, I'll open up my essay, and so will my partner. And when I open it up, I'm going to feel awesome, because when I look at it, I've got my page number and my names, I've got my title, I have my introduction, which is already written, my background information's already done, and I'm moving straight down to the section called My Example at Fort Pitt and My Example at Mexico. I've already completed my outline, which is the same as what you've done in your papers, and I've included my evidence to my claim, and my relationship to my thesis. I've decided to not have you guys do the third one because this part right here, claim 3, you guys are not going to do that because I realize that we're already using a lot of space and I don't want to read like 10-page papers. So I've got my information complete. Once my information is complete, I will check with my teacher and then I'll move back to my text. Using my example, I was able to add my 2 paragraphs. The first one is my example at Fort Pitt, and my second one is my example in Mexico. Now, these are way shorter than my other paragraphs, and that's okay. If you wanted to add more information, definitely do. I just really tried to follow the expository outline. I have my topic sentence, though, which is something you're going to have to add. My first example describes use of smallpox during Pontiac's Rebellion. The second example is about smallpox and its role to defeat the Aztec Empire at Tenochtitlan. I said for my first example that at Fort Pitt that it destroyed communities, and I said in my second example that it destroyed cultures. So those are the 2 things that I am saying, according to my thesis, the negative role that smallpox played, because my thesis was that biological warfare had a negative impact on the native populations. So in total right now, I'm getting on to page 5, which is getting a little tight, but all is good. I'm going to pause the video now and come back in the same video to talk about our conclusions. For our conclusion, I make sure that I've completed my outline. I've repeated my research question. Did I learn what I expected? And then I made a connection. You can connect to the world, you can connect to yourself, or you can connect to your community. For my example, I decided to connect to the world, but you can choose whatever you want. Using what I've written, I'm going to go back to my conclusion. I have to unbold, which is Control B. I hit Enter, and then backspace, and tab. I tab so I can start where I need to. You can use a sentence stem from that paper, or you can use this one. In conclusion, this paper has talked about the impact of biological warfare on Native American populations. I argued that biological warfare had a negative impact on Native populations. I suggested that smallpox destroyed communities and destroyed cultures. Using the examples of English use of smallpox blankets in Delaware and Hernan Cortez's use of smallpox to destroy Tenochtitlan, I showed the devastation that this disease had on the native populations. So then I have to go into, did what I learn match what I expected? So I hit Enter, Tab. What I learned matched my expectations. Native Americans did not stand a chance against this form of biological warfare. Smallpox destroyed these people. However, I did not expect the huge numbers. millions of Native Americans died. Then I would hit enter and tab, and I would go to my connections. If I connected it to myself, I might argue that that had I been in that position with the Native Americans, that I would have felt the same way. That whatever religious belief that I had was suggesting that I was inferior to them because I was dying, and I would have run away. So that would have been my conclusion if I connected to myself. But I'm going to connect it to the world. I'm literally just copying what I wrote over here in my outline to my paper. I've made my connection that says white men learned that they were superior and the natives were weak. This is false. We know about immunities, and the old world had a chance to build up immunity to smallpox while the new world did not. What would have happened if there had been a new world disease that destroyed all the Europeans when they arrived? How might history have been different? Ending with a question makes your paper super strong. I've got all sections, a full 5 pages, which is fantastic, and more than I wanted. And only thing that I need to add is my conclusion. So I hit enter. Notice that I'm almost at the next page, so I'm just going to go to the next page. If you have enough space, just stay on the same page. I hit center, and I type in bibliography. This is the last section and something that you will be completing on your last day working on your paper. There are 2 rules for bibliography. One is that everything is in alphabetical order by author or organization. And 2, that the second line is indented. My bibliography has 4 sources, and they go in alphabetical order. I've got G, I, P, S. G is first in the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S. So I've got all 4 of my sources. If the source is so long that it goes to the second line, I had to hit enter and tab so that this one is all the way over left and this one is more right. These 2 sources didn't go to the next line, so I just put an enter, a space between each one. I followed all the formatting, the comma, the period, the parentheses, the parentheses, the period, the period, the period, the period. Every single one of mine ends with retrieved from the internet. When I zoom out, I see that I have a 6-page paper that I am very, very, very proud of, and the only remaining thing that I need to do is click this button here and share it. So I'm going to have all of us share it with the same person, smstraub27@gmail.com, and in the title, the note, you're just going to put who you are in your class period. Straub and Kaplan, period 1. Then I hit send. After it's sent, there's confirmed it's shared with a person, and it's turned into me. You are totally done. Congratulations.